In this video we're tackling a topic that's as old as time itself: infidelity. But remember, we're in the business of laughs, not relationship advice, so if you recognize these signs, maybe it's time for a chat, or just a good laugh. Ever noticed how her phone suddenly turned into a high-security vault? Well, let's dive into that. It's like her device has transformed into Fort Knox overnight. You're greeted by Face ID, fingerprint scans, and maybe even a retinal scan if she is in DEFCON 1 mode. Heck, you'd think you're about to launch a nuclear missile, not check the weather app. And it's not just about the lock screen. Notice how her phone is always on silent, or how she steps out of the room to take calls. Maybe she's dealing with top-secret government intel, or perhaps she's just really into her spy novels. Now, we're not saying that a sudden upgrade in phone security is a surefire sign of infidelity, but if you find yourself needing to provide a DNA sample just to answer a call, it might be time to ask what's up. Or perhaps you could just enjoy a good laugh over her newfound obsession with tech security. If you need a DNA sample to answer her phone, maybe it's time for that chat, or just a good laugh. Who knew she could outrun Usain Bolt? Let's talk about her sudden fitness frenzy. Out of the blue, she's up before the sun for a brisk jog. The kettlebells that were gathering dust are now her new best friends. And yoga? She's bending in ways that would make a pretzel envious. Now this could be a commendable commitment to health, or maybe she's found a new running partner. Kickboxing classes, they've become her second home. And let's not forget the protein shakes, the salads, and the gym selfies. She's either preparing to audition for the next superhero movie, or she's flexing those muscles for someone else's admiration. But hey, maybe she's just found a new passion. After all, fitness is a journey, not a destination. If she's training for a marathon or just running away from commitment, only time will tell. Did she just say lit? Let's decode her new lingo. Now, the English language is always evolving, but if your girlfriend is suddenly dropping slang terms left and right, you might be left scratching your head. One day she's talking about the latest book club pick, the next she's asking if you're down to clown. Look, we're not saying she's necessarily cheating, but it's a little suspect if she's suddenly talking like she's auditioning for the lead in a teen drama. It's like she's speaking a different language, one that's coded in YOLOs and on fleeks. And let's not forget the excessive use of acronyms. If she's firing BRBs, OMGs, and LOLs your way, you might wonder who she's been texting with lately. But hey, maybe she's not stepping out, maybe she's just having a midlife crisis. Or maybe she's been possessed by a teenage YouTuber. In that case, if she's been possessed by a teenage YouTuber, maybe it's time to summon an exorcist. Ever heard of a story more detailed than a Tolkien novel? Let's dissect her storytelling skills. You've noticed she's developed a knack for recounting her day like she's presenting a case in court. Every minor detail, every timestamp, every micro-expression of the barista who served her coffee, it's all there, in high definition. Now don't get me wrong, some people are naturally gifted storytellers, but if she's suddenly turned into Charles Dickens overnight, you might want to raise an eyebrow. Is she covering for something, weaving elaborate tales to hide an indiscretion? Or has she found a newfound love for creative writing and you are her captive audience? These stories, while fascinating, could be a sign of lying. Or maybe she's just really into writing spy novels. If she's a budding novelist or just a pathological liar, only her next chapter will tell. Why does she need privacy to take out the trash? Let's explore her sudden need for solitude. You know, there's a fine line between enjoying some alone time and developing an obsession with privacy. Recently she's been crossing that line like a marathoner sprinting for the finish. Suddenly she's the privacy advocate who makes Edward Snowden look like an open book. It starts subtly. She takes her phone everywhere, even to the shower. Seriously, who needs a waterproof case to take a call from Mother Nature? Then she's off to the mailbox, phone in hand. And let's not even talk about the trash can escapades. It's like she's guarding state secrets, not yesterday's leftovers. Could this sudden privacy infatuation be a sign she's hiding something, or maybe she's just developed a newfound appreciation for solitude and personal space? Either way, it's a development worth noting. If she needs a private consultation to recycle, maybe it's time to hire a private investigator. Ever found a receipt for a romantic dinner for two? Let's talk about her unexplained expenses. Now, we've all had that moment of surprise when we stumble upon an unfamiliar receipt. A fancy meal at a high-end restaurant, a surprise shopping spree, or maybe even a hotel booking in a city she's never mentioned visiting. Suddenly, her working late excuse has a dollar sign attached to it. But before you jump to conclusions, keep in mind, she could just have a generous heart. She might be feeding a stray cat, an expensive caviar-loving stray cat. Or maybe she's secretly a philanthropist, making large anonymous donations to the Save the Snails Foundation. Whatever the case, these mysterious expenses should raise an eyebrow. It's a sign that something's up, and it's time to start asking questions. If she's feeding an expensive stray cat or just another man, only her bank statement will tell. Why does she laugh at jokes you don't get? Let's decipher her laugh track. Now we've all been there, haven't we? She's sitting across from you, scrolling through her phone, and suddenly she's laughing. A chuckle here, a guffaw there, and you're left scratching your head wondering what could be so funny. Maybe she's found a secret comedy podcast, a hidden gem in the world of humor that's tickling her funny bone. Or perhaps there's a new jester in the court, a funny man who's got her giggling at jokes you can't comprehend. Is it a sign of infidelity? Maybe. Is it a sign that she's got a great sense of humor? Definitely. But hey, laughter's the best medicine, right? So maybe it's time to join in on the fun. Ask her to share that hilarious meme, or even better, the name of the comedy podcast she's been secretly enjoying. If she's got a secret comedy podcast or just another funny man, only her next joke will tell. Why does her hair change more often than a chameleon? Let's discuss her hair chronicles. If you've noticed that her hairstyle is as unpredictable as the weather, then you've got another sign to ponder on. One day she's flaunting a pixie cut, the next day she's sporting Rapunzel-like locks. Then, before you know it, she's a brunette, then she's blonde, then she's a redhead. It's like she's going through the entire color palette. Now, this could mean two things. One, she's found a magical hair growth potion and a lifetime supply of hair dye. Or two, she's stepping out on the town with a new look to impress someone new. It could also be that she's just really into hair modeling, or maybe she's just a big fan of wigs. Who knows? If she's moonlighting as a hair model or just another woman's man, only her next hairstyle will tell. So to recap, folks, we've navigated the murky waters of suspicious behavior, and what a journey it's been. It's like a roller coaster ride through the Twilight Zone, with a side trip to Bizarro World thrown in for good measure. First, we explored the enigmatic realm of mysterious phone habits. Remember, if she's turned her phone into a digital Fort Knox, you might want to raise an eyebrow, or just appreciate her commitment to cybersecurity. Then, we ventured into the wilderness of the sudden interest in fitness. If she's suddenly channeling her inner Rocky Balboa, it could be a sign. Or maybe she's just really committed to her New Year's resolution. Our third stop was the linguistic labyrinth of the new vocabulary. If she's started talking like she's auditioning for a role in a teen drama, you may want to ask some questions. Or just brush up on your Gen Z lingo. Next, we delved into the world of overly detailed stories. If her accounts of her day rival a Sherlock Holmes novel for detail, it could be a red flag. Or she might just have a future as a crime novelist. Our fifth destination was the fortress of the sudden privacy advocate. If she's suddenly more private than the CIA, it could be cause for concern. Or perhaps she's just really into her personal space. Then we navigated the financial fog of unexplained expenses. If she's racking up receipts like a high roller in Vegas, it might be time for a chat. Or maybe she's just found a new hobby in gourmet cooking. We also tuned into the laugh track. If she's chuckling at inside jokes you're not privy to, you might want to take note. Or it could just be that she's discovered a hilarious new podcast. And finally, we marveled at the spectacle of constantly changing hairstyles. If her hair transformations are giving you whiplash, it could be a clue. Or maybe she's just really into experimenting with her look. Remember folks, communication is key. But if you do catch her in the act, at least ask her hairstylist's number. They're obviously doing something right. Stay quirky, folks.